I want to talk today a little bit around the issue of what care is. For a lot of us over the years, raising children, caring and control have been the same thing. We have controlled our children's lives. Don't make friends with them. Don't go here. Study this. Learn this. We've told them how to behave. We come from a tradition with children that children should be seen and not heard. And we used to lose children. I mean, they never used to grow up. So we didn't particularly invest in them until they reached a certain age, because our hearts couldn't cope. And we carry these traditions with us. We tell our children what to do. We don't ask. And in the control and in the telling is a lack of respect. And what this does is it creates a division inside a person. So their instincts, if you're a child and you're growing up, your instinct is, you know you're loved, but then you're being controlled. And when we're controlled, it does not feel like love in our bodies. It does not. It feels most uncomfortable when we are told to shut up. This isn't an appropriate time to behave like that. We feel railroaded. We feel unseen. And we feel dismissed. And when you put those things inside love and beside love, you create a division inside your children. If you think of your own life and your upbringing, is there anybody that doesn't get away without feeling this a little bit or a lot? And that creates who we become. Because we spend the rest of our lives trying to pull those things together. And there is a particular pain in being loved and not seen and not understood and controlled. Because it diminishes. It doesn't build our self-esteem. And whatever happened in the past, we don't want to take that forward for our own children. We want to create spaces where we do trust them, where we genuinely trust them. It's not a sham of trusting them. It's got to be real. It's got to be real in us for them to know it's true. Because if we are lying, they will know it. So there is something that I call a container. So when we have children, we create a container of love for them. And the walls of that container can be lined with telling and the control, do this, do that, and then getting cross because they didn't do it in the timescale we wanted them to without necessarily conveying that timescale. And that's there, and that's how we raise them. But inside that container that we've created, we're breaking our own hearts. Because then when the children leave or they push against you, we go, but I loved them. My intention was to love them and to keep them safe, which it was, which it is, which is why there is this division that makes it difficult. The difficulty between love and how we raise people. Because we're often raised without having felt loved. And sometimes when we're raising our own children, we do the opposite. So we were very controlled, so there is a lack of control. But both are not creating a container of safety. And what we really want to do with our children is to create a container of safety, to be a safe person for them. Now that doesn't mean that you have no boundaries and you just give in to them. That doesn't mean that you never say no. It actually means that your no is strong, and they know, they hear your no and they respect your no, because they understand that it's reasonable and that your no isn't flying around any old how. You're not just feeling tired, so you say no. You're actually explaining to them, I'm not up to that now. That is a lovely idea, but I'm not up to that now. Which is a different level of respect than just a blanket no. And it's also treating them with respect. So one of the things that I do, or the main thing maybe that I do, in my inner child work, I help people to create a container inside themselves, to be the container, to be the place which holds it together. And when I work with parents, it's so they can see that in their interaction. They can see where that truth lives and where that truth doesn't live. Because there is the holding space. Oh, it's what we yearn for. We yearn to be held. We yearn to have come from a space where we were held. As women, we yearn for men to do it for us, especially if we are also holding a lot of people. If we are holding all our children, then we would like somebody to hold space for us. It's very common as a concept, in a therapeutic concept. And it's becoming more common in intimate relationships. But I think we need to extend it also to our relationships with children, because it does cross into there as well. But it's about being ourselves ultimately. When we are true in ourselves, we can hold other people against our truth. And then there is no sense of the lie. And the control that I was speaking of in the beginning, there is a sense of a lie, because the control is normally connected to man-made rules, beliefs, ideas, and not your essence. If you have ever been lucky enough to have somebody in your life who held space, a grandfather, a grandmother, maybe a parent, maybe a teacher in school, one person that you knew, you walked into that room and you just felt that safety coming off them, then you know what it is, you know what you want, and you know what you want to be giving out as well. That's it. That's what I came on here to talk to you about today. Take care. Lots of love.